All right, thank you so much for joining us on our 133rd edition of Lunch Out Loud Ottawa. We are back at the Hub on Bank Street. Always a pleasure to be back here. It's been a few months. So, of course, we're the podcast that talks to the people, places, events, and music that make this city the incredible city that it is. And you can check us out on iTunes. All our past episodes, 133 excellent ones. And before we get to our very special guest, Don Grant, why don't we check this out?
The Tackies. We're known as the band who wants to party, and party is what we do. We've got seasonal flavoring in our next one coming up this Friday. It's a Halloween party at Live on Elgin with our buddies in Hooray Band. The place is going to get packed, so be sure to get your tickets early. You can get them online at liveonelgin.com. Also, come check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all under our band name, The Tackies. There are also free MP3s on our Bandcamp page. This was Hans from The Tackies. See you soon, Ottawa.
All right, so thank you very much, The Tackies. So go to thetackies.bandcamp.com. That song was going crazy. It was off of their first album, kind of EP, singles. They have 3 excellent songs. We're going to be listening to a couple others later. They sound a little like the Franz Ferdinand, so they're going to get you dancing on Saturday, on Halloween, live on Elgin, with our good friends, the Hooray Band. So if you do not have plans, that's a very busy day in the capital. Get out to Live on Elgin. If you've never been to Live on Elgin, I envision this to be one of the marquee kind of live music places in the city going forward. And of course at halftime we got Jen from Foodie Prince who will be talking about the Ottawa Food and Wine Show, and they have a contest for tickets as well. So you're going to want to participate in that. This is the 30th edition of the Ottawa Food and Wine Show. I've been to a few of them. They're always an excellent time. So, very excited to have Don Grant here. He is the Executive Director of the Ottawa Eco District. I have taken part in many events, so I've seen you around several times, all the time. I'm a full believer. I've been at the presentations at the community associations when they were first brought out from Martin Canning, and I would love to inform more people of exactly what the Ottawa Eco District is, exactly why we're going to be excited about it, why it's needed, and see if we can get more people interested in helping out and grow this. So, Don,
yes,
thank you for having us here at the Hub.
It's great.
Yeah, how's it been going here?
Oh, it's great. It's
still pretty vibrant here during the day.
Awesome space, yep. And just the coincidental meetings, different people. It really is a creative space, and you make a lot of connections.
Yeah, and there is a buzz here. I've always had fun here. Tons of events. So get out to the Hub if you've never been in here. Great co-working space. We like to get to know all of our guests. So what's a favorite kind of eco restaurant? Or green restaurant?
Well, I would say that I'd reframe it instead and say I like to go to the market, get food, and cook it for myself. There's lots of places I like to eat, and we always ask about local food. What do you have on the menu that's local? So rather than point out one restaurant, I would say, if I was going to say anything about local food, it's ask everybody all the time, what do you have that's local?
Yeah.
And it's funny, one of the chain bars at Lansdowne now serves, I think, maybe a neighborhood of 10 or 15 local craft beers that you wouldn't find at another one of the iterations of
local
that chain.
Lansdowne?
It's a different one. It's so it's actually milestones.
Okay.
Not to promote milestones,
Yeah.
but I was impressed that they have all kinds of things that aren't mainstream products that are dictated by the corporate bosses. So
they have 15 types of local beer there.
something like that. Yeah.
Ah.
Found Pink Fuzz there from Beyond the Pale, one of my favorites.
That's an excellent one as well.
Yeah.
And we're seeing. Are you seeing more and more local sustainable food at these restaurants?
I think the food thing's been growing steady. What surprised me is that the beer thing has taken off. Just in the last 5 years, we've gone from, cross my fingers, I hope they have bows, to many places with multiple kinds of local beers. I think we're probably in the neighborhood of 15 breweries that are within 100 kilometers.
Yeah.
And that's just fantastic.
It's awesome. It's great to get to know the owners, and they're all great people, so that's fun. And so we're here talking about the Ottawa Eco District. So we're going to do the broad thing that I'm sure you mentioned several times and you're very good at. So what exactly is the concept of the Ottawa Eco District?
So one of the things is that we have been branding it as the Ottawa Centre Eco District just because we envision there being more eco districts in Ottawa at some point. Our top 3 goals are to reduce environmental footprint, increase social vibrancy, and to attract businesses downtown and ideally create more jobs. So, attract them from outside. I think there's a buzz coming to the downtown. We've got the ZB development not far from here, which will be one of the most sustainable communities on the planet. And we're kind of riding along on the coattails, And I think that what we're going to see is a slow and steady attention to all things. So how can I shrink the footprint of my building? How can I get to work through some means other than by driving my car myself? I see there's new restaurants open down here. That's great. Maybe I'd bring some friends down after hours, that type of thing. And I think as we do that, we will attract more employees down here, young people who want to do the live, work, play thing are going to say, it's pretty cool downtown.
Yeah, to not spend the 45 minutes in traffic on 417 every single day.
Yeah, so that's the vision. We have a group of people that came together in 2012. My good friend James McNeil, who is a local a real estate broker here, focuses in on green development. It was his idea. A bunch of us came together and we coalesced around those ideas. Let's make the buildings greener. Let's get the people out, make it a more fun and interesting place. And let's jump on the bandwagon of some great ideas like complete streets, get on, help support the LRT, other things that are already happening so that we can align with, the good things, the things we want to promote in the city.
So what is the spacing, I guess, for the Ottawa Centre Eco District? What are our...
So we have nominal borders. We've got we're basically the river, the canal, Bronson, and Gloucester, with a few bump outs here and there. We take in City Hall and a few other places. But what we're seeing, and it may grow, the actual eco district itself, but there's a lot of things where the energy of the eco district spills over, and so we're looking not just at this downtown geographic area, but if a great idea can start here, we're looking at how can we spread that out throughout the city. So we may see a whole wave of citywide eco-district ideas that get promoted, and we hope we're the cause of that.
So, are we looking at copying any cities or improving on any other cities and what was their start and what did they end up with and what was their time frame?
So this started in Portland in 2006, and Portland, the last time I checked, had 5 eco-districts. It's mostly an American phenomenon. There's about 31 cities that have some sort of an eco-district up and running. There's 10 that are showcase models. One of them is Ottawa because of ZB, and we kind of partner with them. Yes. And in most of those places, you've got there's 2 types. Sometimes what you have is a redevelopment project, and this is a way for the city to be engaged in the redevelopment and to really humanize it, to make it something that we can, that city can be proud of, not just a whole bunch of condos with no soul to them. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the areas. The other one is areas like downtown Ottawa, where you're focused in on an existing area and trying to make it better. Like when we got rolling with our methodology, we asked people 2 simple questions. When you think about downtown, what do you love about downtown, and what would make it better? And we happen to work within a methodology where we, and the event that you were at, you went to a table, and so this table was mobility and connectivity. So you answered that question within the context of mobility and connectivity. Or we had prosperity, or et cetera, et cetera.
And what did you discover that Ottawa people wanted, and what did you bring forth to
interestingly,
the City Council?
So what's interesting is that the number one idea was better connections to and from the downtown core for biking. So in the event that I'm talking about, which happened in February of 2015, we had over 150 people. We had over 300 ideas. We took and we massaged those, used a bunch of them, integrated them into our programming, had a top 10 list that we looked at a little bit harder. So we also, in that top 10 list, were things like reducing, diverting more waste in commercial properties and in apartment buildings, increasing the amount of green space downtown, looking at how we can support the sharing economy. There's a whole diversity of things. So for the coming year, the three things that we chose to work on, we went back to the cycling, and I'll speak about that in a minute. We also looked at a couple of specific waste projects. We've got something we've proposed to the city, and what we've asked the city to do is we want to have a competition between multi-res buildings, so high-rises, condos, etc. We want to, one, get them all in the Blue Bag program, and two, we want to get them competing with one another because they've got this great program in place right now where they can tell you how much waste you're diverting in your apartment building. Okay. So I think that's really exciting. The third one is we're going to do a revised Environment Week next week. We want to work with the government and a whole bunch of other people. Environment Week, which is it's the first week of July. So we want to pick a day during first week of June. So we want to take a day during that week. We want to have almost like a festival-like atmosphere, all kinds of different causes that you can support or foods that you can try or what have you, right? And then we want to cap it off with a scavenger hunt that's kind of like the Amazing Race. Mm-hmm. Have about 15 corporate teams running all over the eco-district, following clues and doing funny things and maybe getting on camera. So just to get sort of increase that social vibrancy side of things.
How have you been working? I know if we're working in Centertown, if we're working here in the financial kind of district, how has it been working with the NCC so far and Spark Street? And are we going to be able to see these kind of initiatives more with partners that in the past have not been the easiest to work with?
Well, Spark Street BIA are fantastic. We've worked with them. They've been really good. They have helped us out. We do, every year we do what's called EV or Electric Vehicle Day. Yes. So we take 2 blocks of Spark Street, we put all the electric cars out there, we make sure we position the Teslas at the corners so that everybody oohs and ahs and comes in. We have booths to talk about different aspects of energy conservation. And that's been great. So they've been very helpful. The National Capital Commission, I'm hoping that with the new government that they'll have, they'll have fewer controls, maybe a little bit more money to invest, because they have some tremendous potential.
Absolutely. They're controlling the lands down in LeBreton, so.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. We would like LeBreton, if you speak about LeBreton, we would love LeBreton to join the eco-district. So we've actually connected with a couple of the proponents. Ideally, the winning proponent will be one that supports the eco-district, and we would like to see the eco-district expand, take in the LeBreton Flats development, connect to ZB, and maybe go beyond that. But I think it'd be a great thing.
Well, I remember during the election, mm-hmm. The topic is what would you want to see down on the land that's they're thinking of developing the stadium or the arena, mm-hmm. and the number one answer from all of them was just an open green space like Central Park in New York, and I thought that would be phenomenal.
Yeah,
what a great thing that would be, and that fits in with this.
Well, yeah, but I would have
not a lot of money in that. Though.
I know that's the question. And the thing is let's take a look at Lansdowne. Not everybody's happy with Lansdowne. But I tell you what, I went to the city folk. It was terrific. So I think it's a nice blending of green space with restored buildings with the new buildings. I don't know. I think it can be done.
It's a lot better than what it used to be. And
sure
you
is.
See the vibrancy out there and all year farmers market.
Yeah,
we'll see how that ends up for next year. The farmers market I know is not the total thing. A lot of people ask the question. The lights on in the government offices, is that any kind of footing with the Ottawa Eco District? Is there studies out there that show how much taxpayers are paying to have all these offices lit? Is there a reason for all these offices to be lit?
Those are excellent questions. Maybe we should get Catherine McKenna on the phone. But I think at the end of the day, energy conservation is one of the most important things that we would like to see done. We would like to see buildings